Hey, man. How's it going? Oh, wait, let me get my audio fixed. I don't know why I can't hear you. Are you muted? You're not muted. I can see you're talking, but I can't hear you for some reason. And you're not muted. Say something else. You two lonking walker. Can you hear me? I can't see what you're saying. I see you are opening your mouth and like moving the word. I don't know why. You've never had audio problems with the input. I'm not sure what's going on. Pretty positive I've got my headphones all set up. Maybe should I give you a phone call real quick? Hey there. How's everybody doing? Let's see here.
I should be on now.
Here we go. I hear you.
It just, my computer told me to restart.
Oh, so okay.
That's what I was trying to mouth. I'm going to relaunch.
I'm going to relaunch. Nice try. Cool. Well, shall we get started?
Sure.
Awesome. Thanks for giving me a break last week of my previous obligation, folks. So we have at least one new participant here, Kathy. And I don't know if you even, I'm assuming you have the capability of unmuting and showing your video, or maybe not, but if you want to, you're welcome to participate in the conversation. And who knows, maybe you're out and about in the car driving around or something, so that's okay as well. I will give a brief introduction to kind of what's going on here for Kathy, and then we can kind of get started. And if Kathy, you want to join in at some point, you're welcome to. So yeah, we started this group. There's actually a bunch of eligible people to join, but I think that sometimes it's difficult during the daytime. People have gigs and things like that. So we may actually consider changing the time. I don't know. Sean's been a regular person that's visited. Floyd has begun to visit on a weekly basis. And the intentions here are just to be able to get together with a smaller group of piano technicians that are serious about, doing really great work, growing their skills and growing their businesses. And we bring in David Anderson here. Not necessarily, he's definitely an experienced veteran, but in this particular role, he and I have discussed it. He's here it's just to provide another perspective, and just be another member of the group. And we can have some meaningful conversations, talk about what's going on with us and what we're working on, and outsource assistance from the other members of the group, get support, and hopefully get farther along on our journey than we would have otherwise. So that's what's going on. And that was here for giving that overview for Kathy. So I think I'll just take the reins here and just uh, maybe do some check-ins with individuals and see how things are going. So first, maybe I'll check it with you, David. What's going on with you?
Well, I don't know Sean Stafford. So, hi, Sean. When you get back in your chair, hi. And Kathy, nice to meet you. Even if it's telepathic right now. I don't have an image or a sound. Hey, Floyd, how you doing, brother?
Very well, thank you.
Well, I've been quarantined since March 9th. So I've been retired from the field since March 9th. I have a partner who's been with me for 10 years and who's got 15 years of experience and who's one of the best piano technicians I know and has really just grown incredibly over the past 10 years. And he's doing the bulk of all of our work outside. He's pretty busy. And we've got some restoration things going, but I had a real challenge the past 6 months. I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in May, and at this point, I'm ecstatic to tell you that I'm cancer free, that I beat it, and that chemo was a bitch, and that it was very difficult, and took a lot out of my 71-year-old body. And so now I'm recovering, sleeping a lot, 10 to 12 hours a day. My appetite's getting better. Everything's getting better. My piano business is doing amazingly well for being in the middle of a horrific pandemic surge. My partner, Nikki, gets tested every week. We're super cautious. We have a whole list of protocols that we ask the clients to follow. We're super cautious. But
I'm curious for the weekly testing thing. Did you is that just something that came, like, when did you start doing that? And is that just sort of part of customer service, or is that part of, him working with you and wanting to keep it safe?
it's a pastiche of all those things. He wants to do it. I want him to do it. And I think it's a great great for our business.
Mm-hmm.
To where I can say to the clients, if they bring it up, oh, he's COVID free.
Right.
It's tested. And now in LA, you can drive into Dodger Stadium and get a free test that you get the results from in a day. So California is the Garden of Eden in one way. Because at least LA County has got it set up so anybody can run through there and get tested. They're testing thousands of people every day at Dodger Stadium. Biggest testing site in the world, I think. So DAP is doing great. My website suddenly has reached a new level of reach, and is getting all these new clients that go to the website and are really deeply impressed by the website, and then they call my website. They leave a message that my web guy gets, and so he sends me a couple of emails every week saying, "Hey, here's a new client that loved your website." So we're very happy about that. And I'm just look. I have a whole bunch of pianos at my house. I have 5 or 6 pianos that I sell at my house. So I've tuned and done some work on pianos in the past 6 months, but I haven't been out of the house except 2 weeks ago. My partner took me down to Orange County and we evaluated several pianos for a couple of people in 2 different dealerships. So I worked. That's the first outside work I did on pianos in since March 9th. So that felt good. All right, there's my check-in. I'm complete.
Awesome. Yeah, it's good to hear that stuff. Of course, I was aware of your health issues, and very grateful that you've made it through, and kind of watched you really take it seriously. You know, I think you did an excellent job. For those that are just joining, David's been fighting cancer since what, March or April or
Yeah, April, basically.
April, and cancer free now. Went through chemotherapy for several months, and really fought back. That stuff fought your body, and you fought back.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I kicked its ass, actually.
yeah, there you go. Pretty impressive. Um, yeah, so I'm checking in with each person here, because and this is great actually. I think this is a nice full call, given our experiences over the past several weeks. So we're gaining some new people in the group. David joined, Clement joined, and I'm not sure what David, which David we're talking to, but it's David's iPhone, so we'll find out maybe. Um, Looks like he unmuted himself. How's it going, David?
Hey, just want to say hi. This is Dave Dickerson
Dave
up
Dickerson.
here up here in Troy, Washington.
Did you
Where
say
are you,
Washington?
In Pasco, Kennewick, and Richland, Washington.
Ah, hey man, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys today?
Um, Happy to be here, brother.
For sure.
Can you
So,
see us as well as hear us, or what
Yeah,
format are you?
I'm fine. I just
Okay.
I'm really here to listen today. I'm actually working, and I just wanted to be an overview on what's going on. So
Okay, awesome. I'll give you a
welcome.
quick rundown. We meet here. The objective is just kind of get a small group of techs together that are serious about their craft and serious about their business, and just help each other, check in with each other, and support each other. So right
good.
now, we've done some check-ins. We got a check-in from David, and I might just check in with Clement now. Just give an update maybe from Clement. How are things going with you with your piano teching around the island of Mauritius? We have to unmute you. Let's see. Do you know how to unmute yourself? Still working on it. There you go. No, maybe not. I know he's done it before. Should be on the lower left-hand corner of the Zoom screen. I guess I'll let you work on it a little bit, and I'll just jump over to Sean. Sean, how you doing?
I think I'm unmuted now.
Yeah,
doing really
good.
well.
Hey,
I
man.
had a chance to complete an oral tuning on one of my own pianos a week or so
Nice.
ago, and
Awesome.
then I set it up, checked it with Verituner, and I was really happy because it was very, very close to where Verituner would have set the temperament. It was just extremely close. Maybe a deviation of less than a cent for most of it, which I think is about as good as it gets. So that was pleasing. So I'm wondering why my struggles in the past with getting that oral temperament right, it just seemed to happen. And as I'm setting it, I can hear David Anderson's voice floating back into my brain. Agua. So,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff kind of sticks with you, you know. And so that was pleased. Now, once I got outside the temperament range, I haven't done any work there or given any thought to thing other than just tuning 4/2 octaves as I go up. But I wasn't quite thrilled with what I ended up there with the, you know, tuning the fifths and the octaves. I mean, it wasn't terrible. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as good as I would have wished. Just going up with checking fifths and octaves as I went up. Tuning downward, I seem to be, there was not as many issues with that until I get really low. Things get really muddy, really murky, and really more difficult in that part of the piano. I really struggle with that. The last three notes, man. How do you tune A0, A sharp 0, and B0? You know, tuning those is I don't know. It just seems like there's this much of a margin where you can put it where it might sound good, and you don't really know.
Yeah, it's like you can't even think about it. You just let your body do it in some weird way. I don't even know. Triple octaves, you know, play a triple octave, and if it sounds horrific, you got to try it again. If it sounds relatively in, you know, you're close. Most people tune those last 6 notes way too sharp. They tune to some partial that puts them way sharp. And when you put them in context with the other octaves, it sounds weird, sounds terrible. I heard a piano on a recording the other day that was, that the rest of the tuning was pretty good, okay, but the last 6 notes were horrific because they were so sharp, because they were tuning to some partial that I don't know what it was. Maybe it was some partial match that made the bottom of the piano super sharp. And a lot of pianos I come to are like that. They're super sharp at the bottom. You gotta pull every piano except a concert grand pretty, you know, somewhat sharp, but you know, there's a range. But man, Sean, the fact that you tuned a temperament and got it really close, it was amazing. Tuning,
Congrats.
yeah,
I was amazed too. In the A440, you know, as part of the PTG exam is nailing the A440, and when I tuned it, I thought, well, I'm not even going to worry about that. I think I'll just stick with the fork and you know, tune it, get as close as I can, and then go from there. But even that A440 was like 0.3 cents sharp, which, you know, is as good as it gets as far as I'm concerned. That's really
basically
really
in tune.
Yeah,
yeah, it's in tune. Well, you know, tuning the way I do it and the way I teach it is super simple, but it's a bitch. It's incredibly challenging, you know, to focus your ears and to not be constantly derailed by your own self-critique. I can't do this. What am I trying to do this for? This is hopeless. Blah 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 blah. You know, when you can focus and just listen and just trust that your body. How many pianos have you tuned, Sean?
I would say probably 300.
Right.
Yeah.
300 pianos. That's a lot. You know, you've done this 300 times. And to nail a temperament in that short a period of time is impressive.
Right. Thank you.
Dude. So good job. So tell us about where you live and your how you work on pianos.
Well, actually, I have a website as well, and I was really happy that I pay somebody to manage it. I just made that investment, and I know there's a lot of people out there who don't do that, but it was the right choice for me. And I hooked up with Gazelle I have Gazelle management, my client database, and I have like something like 200 or so clients right now, and many of
Wow.
them are auto scheduling. So that's starting to come back. In the region that I'm in, we've been hit or miss. We'll go along and life will return to normal as far as COVID-19. It'll get slightly normal, and then we'll go 2 steps back. So that has certainly slowed things down.
And where is this, John? Where do you live?
This is, I guess you'd describe it as central New York, in the Binghamton, New York area,
Oh, yeah.
which is maybe 3 miles south or 3 hours south of New York City,
Yeah.
a couple hundred miles outside of the city. A lot of the piano clientele I have recently has been pianos that have not been touched in decades. And that has been an interesting thing. And after, you do enough of those, you're starting to feel it. And I'm right-handed. And so I'm like thinking, wait a second, I can't continue to pitch raise from 150 cents flat. I can't keep doing that all with my right hand. So I started a couple of weeks ago doing the first crank up left-handed. And that has been working out pretty well, just to get them somewhat close to the ballpark, to give myself a break from the right hand, just all the time pulling pin or turning pins with that right hand. That's a lot of stress.
It is. You should investigate an impact hammer if you're going to tune a lot of 100-cent pitch phrases.
Yeah, it's something. I shudder when I see that. I put my Verituner on it and I play A, and it comes up with G sharp. Like, okay, we're in for a ride.
You should absolutely investigate an impact hammer. Raybird makes a great one. There's other makes, but I know men and women that do a lot of clients like you do, because they have some kind of an active Yelp or website or some kind of social media, and they get new clients. And it's 100-cent pitch raises, 3-4 times a week. That's a ton of stress on your body. So
yeah, it really is.
Well, many of those men and women have worked an impact hammer into their practice, and they say it's twice as easy to do a pitch raise with an impact
No
hammer.
kidding.
Yeah. So
I'll check that out. I almost bought a Rayburn at a PTG event a few years ago. They had some really good. It just felt like real quality impact hammer. So I nearly bought it, but I don't remember what came up. I guess I had my eye on other things. One little nuts on.
Now your body is telling you, "Hey, dude."
Yeah, right. But with that, it's almost like getting this sensation of first I'm going through and I'm turning pins, and then after 2 passes of turning pins, then on the 3rd pass I can actually tune the string. If that makes sense. First I'm tuning the pins, then I tune the string.
It makes perfect sense. Look, man, all you have to do is pay attention. This is really the secret of everything, is paying attention, letting your body and your ears and your head enter the world of sound and focus on the sound. That's your point of focus, point of mindfulness, if you want to say that, is to focus on the sound of the piano. Your body, after 300 tunings, is, that's a lot. Think of when it's going to be 1,000, then think of when it's going to be 2,000 and 5,000.
Yeah,
you're going to be, your body is going to start to achieve mastery, and your head, if you're smart, you'll allow your head to follow and not doubt your body's handiwork every time. That's what got in my way the first years that I was practicing piano technology, and what gets in a lot of people's way is their own, self-doubt, their own lack of belief that, no, I've done this 300 times, or I've done this 100 times, or I've done this 1,000 times. My body my being, my brilliant unit knows what to do. I just have to pay attention and focus.
Mm.
You know, awesome. Good job.
Yep.
Should we check in with someone else?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Roy?
Right?
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Sean.
Yes,
Clement, you're unmuted
yes,
now.
yes, yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. Okay,
Hey,
okay.
Clement.
I hear you.
Hey, man.
Okay. So in Mauritius, in fact, the government is planning to open the frontiers by mid-January. So for the time being, the hotels themselves are not in full operation. They have
Mm.
sometimes you have an event, so then they will call me for tuning. And also, for the time being, I have several appointments in the pipeline for people who have just bought a new piano for the kids or to have their piano retuned and so on. These are private clients. See the situation for the time being. But the hotels are the main clients, in fact, for, for me. Hmm? But there are some private individuals. I am booked for a few tunings for the time being. Anyway. Hmm?
Okay.
As
But
yes,
you really get busy when the hotels are back open, right?
yeah, that should be. And the phone calls are fun, and the children or the kids and the piano pupils are back with the teachers and everything.
Right.
This will be the time. But hopefully, if that happens, that we can open the frontier. But being an island, we never know because you can get a reinfection coming from outside. Uh, Somebody coming into, he has passed the quarantine section, but he is also infected and we can get a new outburst. This is also possible. But we are the government and everybody is trying as far as possible not to let this happen. But it's not
Yep.
impossible. Yeah, that may happen through the
Well,
frontier. Yeah,
supposedly we'll have you may have a vaccine by,
yeah,
mid to late spring.
yeah,
So that'll be, you know,
yeah,
I'm very happy about that.
yeah. And this is expected in a few months for the vaccine. I think
Yeah.
we have already ordered for the place orders for the vaccine for Mauritius.
So you're doing okay. You're not hurting financially in this slow time, or
Oh, in fact, for my situation, I have always been doing piano tuning or piano servicing as a part-time occupation. I was, as a profession, I was a scientist working for the Ministry of Agriculture of the country. I have retired a few years ago.
okay. So you're okay. You're
Yeah,
okay.
financially there's no problem because anyway the pension is okay. It's 50% of
Right.
my previous salary. That's okay. I don't have any problems with the financial situation. Because I don't think we can earn a living a full time as a with a full time occupation as a piano tuner in Mauritius. The market is too small,
In
and
Mauritius.
and,
Yeah.
and also I can't practice the same prices as elsewhere in a developed country. People cannot pay for that. It's about the 50 or 75% of the prices, which is usually practiced elsewhere. And this is a situation we have here. We can't help it anyway. And there are some. I have a few pianos which is just been imported for some clients. They want their children to start learning music. And this is a bit of the picture that we have here. And
Awesome.
most of the pianos, they come mainly, the main important now is for Yamaha pianos. The few models of Yamaha. This is the main
Thank
important.
you,
We had
Clement.
Hawaii previously, but the company is no longer importing it. I think it has closed down, in fact, for Hawaii pianos. And sometimes you get somebody getting a European piano coming in, but that's a bit on a rare occasion. somebody coming back to settle in Mauritius, he brings his piano with him or something like that. It may happen from time to time. But there's no big market for piano servicing, and well, I keep myself busy with that. This is my situation.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Appreciate that.
I want to just say hello to Mike. So we have Kathy and David and Mike are all here kind of incognito mode, but and that's okay. But Mike, you joined in the middle of things. You want to say hi? I see you unmuted yourself.
Sure. I'm kind of bouncing around the shop and getting some things ready to head out. So it's a boring camera angle.
No problem.
No.
I just
I recognize your name. I recognize your name, dude. Have you been on either one of the forums?
I'm well. Here I am. There.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. I mean, I've been tuning into the radio hour for sure, and we chime in from time to time there.
There you go.
But if you're,
That's right.
but that and the Facebook forums, you'll see me, chime in from time to time. More often than not with a wisecrack, but yeah.
Well, it's good to see you, brother. It's
You
good
too,
to
man.
see you.
Absolutely. This is great.
Yeah, and Mike, just give you a quick update as you arrive. We're just doing little check-ins with each of the people here, and again, you don't have to participate in the check-ins if you're on your way to something else. You can just hang out in the background. But if you and especially because we haven't met you yet, you're welcome to take a minute at some point to introduce yourself and say what you're up to, what your goals are, things like that. You could do that now, and again, you could bow out, or you could do it later.
No,
whatever.
sure. No, I'd be happy to. We are for about 17, 18 years, my wife Annika and I have run a piano tuning and service business in Chicago, and we've been at that for a long time. Right now, things like I've been hearing other people say, things are slow with COVID. I think that's par for the course for everybody. We've been hanging on all right. Obviously, in the spring, we saw everything drop dead as far as business goes.
Right.
But once people figured out that you can open the door and let the tuner in and walk to the other room and stay 40 feet away, people started to come back to it. It's still not what it was, but we got a PPP loan in the summer, which kind of bridged the gap of anything business wise, income wise that we were dealing with. So that was good. And actually just a few days ago, Annika, my wife, got hired at Roosevelt University downtown Chicago in a full-time position, which
Wow.
super exciting. We've been a 2-technician operation for like I said, 17, 18 years. We've never been quite so far booked that we have literally 2 technicians worth of work every day, all day, right? For a long time, it was 1 technician's worth, and we would, one of us would be home with our, at that time, young children, and the other one would be out tuning. And then, say a couple of years ago, we were at the point where both of us were out most days. And so that was great. But then obviously with COVID, everything slowed way down. But now we've got this, this perfect opportunity presented itself. And we both filled out the applications and dusted off our resumes and applied. And among, I'm not sure how many others, but she got that job last week, and she starts, I think, next week officially. And so that's pretty exciting around here.
What school is it?
Roosevelt University.
Wow.
It's not as big as some of the other schools in Chicago, but it's a pretty hardcore like music performance school. Just up the block from the CSO. Yeah. So that's going to be great.
A friend of mine that's one of the 3 or 4 guys that play everything in the studios in Hollywood in terms of piano went to Roosevelt.
Yeah, it's a great old building down there right on Michigan Avenue, a couple blocks from the CSO. And so, yeah, that's a huge opportunity, and we're really excited that she got that. And so we're kind of in the process right now of kind of shifting, what are we going to do scheduling wise? How are we, as we for a long time split the service business, the in-home service stuff. That's all coming straight to me now, and she's going to be doing the university stuff. So we're kind of in the process of kind of reorganizing and reorienting ourselves to how that'll look. And that's where we are right now.
Wow, that's exciting. And after a year or two, after they get to know her and trust her, you guys are going to be getting tons of clients from
Sure.
Rosa.
Yeah.
I think that's great, man. That's business-wise, that can't be better.
Yeah.
Having a chunk that you know about every year.
Absolutely. And not only that, but it's a full-time salary position. So it's like health benefits and
benefits.
Yeah. Benefits, retirement, all that stuff that, we don't, get to have, handed to us in, when you're out on your own. It's just huge.
That's right, because health insurance, you're not 65, so you don't have the benefit of socialized medicine. So
not yet.
You have to pay for your health care, and it's a lot, man.
It is. I mean, the marketplace did us good, but it's still a lot of money. But now it's, we're going to pay like half of, what we were paying in premiums. It's a no-brainer. It's a huge benefit. And also from the, just the standpoint of the work itself, it's, we've always loved working for ourselves and having, the freedom that comes with that and the ability to just do our work and have it be appreciated. But, all with both of us doing that, all our eggs were in one basket, and this is kind of the perfect, like, middle ground where we're both still doing the work that we love, but there's a little more, solid assurance on one half of that makes all the difference in the world.
Or there's a fat chunk of cash that is coming.
No doubt.
I mean, you can't get any more real than that.
No, absolutely. That's kind of the joke that we've had, since she got the thing, is that, she was the one they picked and hired, right? And technically I still earn more with our private clientele, but that's the
so.
But it's just we couldn't be happier about the that development.
Congratulations, brother. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Thanks.
So what does your private practice look like? What kind of pianos? What's the kind of client, the aggregate normal client that you have?
Most of our business is in home. I'd say maybe 20% schools, churches, and stuff like that. A couple that are a little more substantial than most, but that's probably maybe a quarter of our business. And then the majority of it is pianos in people's houses, and for the most part, pianos that people have had for a long time. We don't have. We're certainly not at odds with dealers or anything in the neighborhood, but we don't have a particular solid established connection to any one particular dealer. So we're not dealing strictly in new pianos. It's a lot of 10, 15, 20-year-old, and then certainly plenty that are older than that. But I don't know, within the last couple of years, I think we're starting to see more newer pianos and better pianos. I think one tip that we had heard year in and year out at PTG conventions is, man, just got to raise your prices, and we did year by year, but then we kind of restructured our pricing a little bit about, I'm going to say, a year and a half ago, to kind of steering toward a more full service model where the kind of the standard appointment costs more than it used to, but there's more that comes with it. And I think that has definitely brought in some better pianos, or at least there's a correlation. It seems, I can't say that one thing caused the other, but it certainly seems that way. And that's been nice. We're doing a little bit more like action rebuilding. I've got a Steinway M that we're finishing up now. Our shop is in our basement, and it's not big enough to bring a piano into. We're not set up for stringing or soundboards, pin blocks, anything like that. But we've got some colleagues in town that do that, all the belly stuff, and I've got an action that we're finishing up here in the next couple of days, and another one in line. So that's what we're up to.
So the better you can get at regulation and voicing, the more you can charge, and the more look, the cold, hard reality of the piano technical community is that a very small percentage of the men and women in it can actually prepare a piano that would be good for recording or performance. Very small percentage. So if you can be in that percentage, or if you and Annika are already in that percentage, you're like golden. The more skills that you can get other than just tuning, especially regulation and voicing and diagnostics and, like fixing stuff that's not good with the piano without complete restoration and stuff, the better clients you'll get and the more money you can charge. Is there any dealer that's around you that you like, that you trust?
Yes, Pianoforte downtown, Thomas Zell's.
Yeah, he's great.
He's absolutely great, and we have a great relationship with him. We don't have, we have not been done like showroom work and whatnot for him, so we haven't spent a lot of time at the shop. But he's great, and Thomas is he's not a technician at all, but he's a member of the guild, and so, we've worked with him a lot in that capacity, and we certainly send people his way because he's completely trustworthy. He goes very much against the grain of the stereotypical salesman kind of stereotype, and he's great.
Yeah, there was a guy like Thomas in LA for a long time named David Abel, who was just like the honest guy, the mensch, the guy you could trust. And it's wonderful to have somebody like that in your town.
It is.
All right. All right, Mike. That's a good little snapshot of y'all's life. That's good. Thank you, man.
No, my pleasure. I'm gonna go back incognito here, but I'm gonna listen in while I'm getting ready to head out.
Sounds good.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
and we'll check in with Floyd Gadd next. Maybe he might be a good contact for you, Mike, because he's over there as a university tech. I don't know exactly how long you've been a university tech, but I imagine it's been for a while, Floyd.
8 years now.
8 years. Okay, so it's not like decades, but you've been at it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Any advice for Mike's piano tech family over there?
Oh,
the university
man.
work.
University work. I'll tell you, one of the advantages of university work is you can push the envelope a little bit more because of the way that you have access to the pianos. If something doesn't work out exactly the way that you want it, it's not as though you've got to go back in and charge, either spend free time or charge more money. You don't need the client's permission to make further development on the piano. You can just go in there and make it work. And there's a tremendous learning opportunity in that.
I could see that. I guess you also have to probably just at that point be careful that you don't put a lot of investment into a piano that doesn't get appreciated or something, right?
Well, even if you do, you've got the opportunity to learn. In fact, the pianos that are not appreciated as that maybe don't get, even just a practice room piano. Well, I shouldn't say just a practice piano, because I think those are some of the most important pianos in our collection. But there's no prestige around getting a practice piano working really well. but it's a wonderful opportunity because you've got an opportunity for feedback. You've got an opportunity for investing in the experience of the students. It's a good place to grow your craft.
Wow.
How do you, by the way, manage the what do you call it, the beating, I guess, that you would say those practice pianos take? Did you come up with any interesting hacks on how to manage that or reduce the impact, getting students to respect the pianos? Because I know sometimes that can be an issue, running in and out, ripping off a music desk, spilling a drink, stuff like that. How are things at your university with that kind of stuff?
Things that are at a university with that stuff are astonishing. I read what other techs have to put up with, and I just shake my head and think, how did I land up in such a position here? The instruments are treated with great respect. Now, we are the practice rooms are limited access, music students only. So there's key card access now, or fob access or whatever to get in and out. But it's quite astonishing how well the pianos are treated here by the students. The worst I have to deal with is broken strings. Big hairy deal.
Wow.
Impressive.
So to have that caliber of student who works hard on the piano, puts that kind of wear and tear on it, but doesn't abuse it.
Yep.
That's a good situation.
So, do you have good relationships with the students? Do they know you?
Yes, my workshop is right at the end of the practice hallway. So I have the opportunity to rub shoulders with students every day, except in COVID times, of course, when I see almost nobody.
Right.
But
Wow.
it's
wow. You're like a poster child for university techs. Man, I talked to some other people and they're like, they have a different frame of reference, man. You have a really good frame of reference. You have a gratitude-based frame of reference.
Yeah.
Other people that I talk to don't. They're looking at the shadow side of the situation and focusing on it, and there's a lot of downsides. There's downsides to being a university tech, especially if that's your only source of income, or if that plus a few privates, and you're not in a good situation where it's fairly obvious that the administration of your school is at least partially enlightened and give you and the music department a budget to work with, and not starvation, starvation.
We've got kind of a unique situation here. I haven't heard of it being done this way. The Department of Music employs me directly. The university has about 90 pianos in the collection, and the Department of Music has 30 some pianos. So any pianos that I tune outside of the Department of Music collection, the Department of Music derives some income from that. And that income from the other instruments becomes our budget for parts, for supplies, and for savings toward a new instrument. So when I first started here, I was fairly limited. I was told you can spend something like X hours a week tuning working beyond the department. But as I earned the trust of the administration, that opened up to the place where we have enough surplus in a typical year in terms of income coming in from extra departmental tuning that we can be saving towards a new instrument.
So you feel that you're compensated enough to warrant you're basically in effect working for the music department, right? In one sense.
Yeah, well, I'm compensated. I'm a full-time, it's a full-time position here with benefits. And there is obviously 35 pianos does not overtax a technician who's working full-time. The
That's
90
right.
pianos is a more realistic number. But
Yeah, I understand that. That's fair. That's good. And it's smart on their part. My God. You know, the music, that's a good setup for them because it's no money out of their pockets. They're just taking fees based on invoices from other, entities in the college. That's good.
mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind
so
of a
And
cool setup. I think that I can imagine it's not really done that way at other. I don't remember the specifics. I sat in at the Department of Music at Northwestern University many years ago, and yeah, I feel like either campus tunings got left up to the various places, like they could just book whoever they came across, or somehow the music department just foot the bill, by sending their technician over to tune the
mhm.
dorm piano or whatever needed to be done. So that's pretty an interesting setup they got there.
Yeah, and the other areas, the conservatory music, they have every liberty in the world to ask whoever they want to come in and do the work.
sure.
But
But now they trust you.
yeah,
So I've never been on staff at a college or university or conservatory. I've been a gunslinger that comes in and diagnoses issues and works on their performance pianos. But I've never tuned like, 12 practice room pianos. I've never had occasion to do that or maintain, just the workaday workhorse pianos. I don't think I've
mhm,
ever done that. Maybe a couple of times really early in my career, but
mhm.
I haven't done that long. So I have no experience. So it's fascinating to hear these experiences. Fascinating.
It's I do up to in a typical week, maybe about 7 tunings outside of the university. There'll be some weeks when I've got days off that I can do more than that. But if I'm working a full-time week at the university, 7 tunings outside is the maximum of what I can tackle. When COVID first hit, my outside tunings, I just dropped those altogether, and then I think it was about June started up again. My calendar for December is just about empty, which is really interesting. We are seeing a surge in COVID here, some additional restrictions, but I still have the liberty to get out and do what I need to do. It'll be interesting to see how much of that is just people planning a little more close to the date rather than planning out in advance.
Right.
December could well fill up on me, but at this point, there's a handful of tunings in a neighboring province that will probably get canceled because of COVID restrictions. There's one tuning an hour and a half out of the city, and that's all that's on my calendar for December right now.
Wow.
So, but we're not in a bad situation. Somehow, even with fewer tunings, we're in a better situation financially than we were a year ago, just in terms of the week-to-week budget. So I've got a lot to be grateful for.
Absolutely. And you always do. That's the actual reality of life. You're
Mhm.
breathing. You have a lot to be grateful for. You're breathing. You're not dead. You're
Yeah.
alive. You still got a body and it's still working. That's, for me, the basis of gratitude. And that has been challenged in the past 6 months, man.
Yep.
So it's even sweeter now.
Mhm.
The fact that not only am I alive and breathing, but I have a house and a car and a craft and a family, and it just the gifts start piling up, you know.
Mhm.
And I can. I mean, come on. We live privileged lives. We all do, in one sense or another, because we have resources. We have, you know, and we have this incredible craft that kind of unites us. That's so nerdy and so cool and so awesome. You know, piano music. It's powerful for me.
I got to tell a funny story from this week. I tuned for a client, and they were very careful about social distancing, but the dog wasn't quite so careful. The little border collie, not quite a year old, just full of life, full of affection, coming to get its ears scratched and the whole bit, but was pretty well behaved to the tuning, didn't make much noise. Now the dog's name is Mozart. And at the end of the tuning, I sat down and played through Schumann's Traumerei. And if the dog didn't start singing along soulfully, it was the funniest thing.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
I'm
Well,
sure you've seen the video. Have you seen the
Go ahead.
video online where the woman films her dog at the piano when she leaves the house? Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh, you got to check it out. I think the woman was a singer, and so she would sit down at the piano and she would read music and she would sing. But she heard, maybe her neighbors like told, maybe I'm making this story up too. It's a good story, so who cares? But she left her neighbors maybe told her that the dog was making noise while she was gone. So she set up a camera and she left the house. And when she left the house, you see the dog jumps up on the piano, sits on the piano bench, and starts pawing at the keys and going, oh, like he's,
I think I've seen that.
yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
So my first piano appointment in 6 months was going to evaluate in one piano store a new Shigeru Kawai, and in another piano store 3 Steingravers in a room that was built for them. So an incredibly high class reintroduction to field work, I'll tell you. You know, when you're lucky enough to put your hands on a piano that costs, in the 6 figures, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
They sound so beautiful. Even out of the box, they sound beautiful. Because at the end of the line, the Steingraber little castle factory and at Shigeru Kawai, they trick them out. They make them as close to ready for concert and recording at the end of the line. It's what the tier 1 pianos do. And then when you get them out of the box, they're not there, but they're pretty damn close. And that's a beautiful thing to feel and hear a piano that took hundreds of hours to build.
Yeah.
And was built by people that have been working on pianos for decades, that are dedicated nerds like us. It's just, we forget about what a privilege it is. And to, if we're lucky enough to have some good pianos in our practice. It's a constant source of gratitude for me, man, because there's nothing like the sound of an acoustic piano that's well prepared. Nothing.
In the collection here, we've got We've got the newest performance piano we have is about a 10, 11-year-old Fazioli.
Wow.
And then we've got a 1980 something Yamaha CF that needs a lot of love right now. It's not been a priority. It's been kind of in storage. The Fazioli displaced it, and so it hasn't seen a lot of love. We've got a 1970 something Mason and Hamlin, which I've done a lot of work on.
What size?
It's a CC. It's a 9-foot.
Wow. How is that?
It's pretty good. I had to do some interesting things with the action. I changed the action ratio, moving the capstans, and that made a lot of difference.
Because in stiff actions, man, move the capstans is like a miracle, right?
Yeah. And I've had good feedback there. And then we've got a 1965 Steinway D, and that
you have a lot of performance.
Yeah, we've got 4. Between 2 of them are in the Department of Music, and 2 of them are on the other campus at the conservatory. We've got a concert hall there.
Wow. And you maintain all those pianos?
Yeah.
Awesome. You're very fortunate.
I am.
So Ethan, guess what time it is?
About time here. This is cool. Well, I appreciate this particular meeting. Speaking of gratitude, like I said earlier, it's nice to see some new people showing up here, and we're getting excited about the convention coming up. Make sure to tell your friends.
Yeah, let's talk about that next week.
Yeah, we should talk about that a bit. Yeah, so we can sign off here in a minute. If anybody had any last minute words, let me know. But otherwise, we'll call it. I'll pop the recording up in the member area too, if anybody wants to check it out. And
this has just turned out to be an incredibly enjoyable hour. This is really good. Thank you very much.
Definitely. And for those like David and Kathy that weren't, speaking much, we feel your energy here. And so we appreciate you being here too. And it was nice to meet you, Mike, and get to know you a little bit better. Okay. So I'll sign us off, and we'll catch you guys next week. Same time.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
See you next week.
Bye.